From the top of Lookout Mountain, you can see relics of past confrontations. Those involving men of honor, men of strength, men of pride. The question is not one of right or wrong, but one of choice. When old friends turn to violent behavior and other friends stand by, someone must say an eye for an eye. During a time when most extend season's greetings, in the NWA it's become season's beatings.
Welcome to Superstation TBS. We are live coming to you from the UTC Arena in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's Season's Beatings, Class of Champions 4. And what a night of wrestling excitement we're going to see. The finals of the United States Tag Team Tournament. The Fantastics beating Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Ron Simmons. You'll see Dr. Death and the Italian Stallion. Plus Ivan Koloff and Paul Jones in the handicap match. The big battle, Dusty Rhodes and Road Warrior Animal, one-on-one. Plus the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette will take on Ric Flair and Barry Windham. What a night it's going to be, live from the UTC Arena. And we're back here, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Ross and Bob Cottle here at ringside. And Bob, this is going to be something. It's certainly electrifying here in the UTC Arena here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're here at the Clash of Champions 4, Season's Beatings, and Ron Simmons starting out against Bobby Fulton.
Jim, it's a great opportunity for wrestling fans all across the nation to see the finals of this tag team tournament live right here on TBS. Both of these teams have, well, they've had tremendous struggles to get here. They've gone through some of the greatest tag teams in the world to reach these finals, and one of these teams is going to leave right here with the championship belts when they leave the ring.
Collar and elbow tie-up. Ron Simmons, no doubt the most powerful man in this tag team event. The big former Florida State football All-American, 265 pounds. There you see Bobby Fulton. Fulton has great quickness, and no doubt he will have that advantage over Ron Simmons here.
No doubt about that, Jim. Simmons is the big heavyweight. He's the strong man of the four in the ring when it comes to just real brawn. But Fulton and Rogers both are going to try to use their quickness and speed to outwit him, to get him off his feet and get him on the mat.
The Fantastics are more successful when they control the tempo. And with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert's great strategy and technical abilities, and this man's strength, they may have a hard time doing that. Nice move by Bobby Fulton. Drop kick, taking big Ron Simmons off his feet. Backing Simmons in, sends him for the ride. Simmons misses with a powerful clothesline, but he's caught Fulton right there. Backbreaker, high impact by big Ron Simmons. And I think we can count on Bob seeing Simmons and Gilbert perhaps slow it down a little bit to counteract the quickness that the Fantastics possess. That's great strength for the big man from Florida State.
That's just an example of how power and brawn can overcome the quickness and the speed. When Fulton missed that, when he went into the ropes and came off, Simmons was ready for him to scoop him up high to the air.
There's Jason Hervey of the Wonder Years. That's his young lady with him on his arm. Jason, a big wrestling fan, a tremendous fan of the National Wrestling Alliance, and especially a big fan of the Fantastics here at ringside. All right, this pace at this point in time, I think, has to be in Gilbert and Simmons' favor. The Fantastics, and we have seen them in some tremendous altercations. One comes to mind right here, Bob, in this facility several months ago when they won the U.S. titles. But that match was a very high-tempo match. They were controlling the pace for most of that contest. But right here, this is what they have to do.
That was a great move right right there on the part of Fulton to make that tag, and it's good to get the fresh man in. Let's see now what Rogers can do with the big man.
Nice drop kick by Tommy Rogers. What a phenomenal crowd we have here tonight. Quickness. Rogers is one of the quickest athletes in the NWA. Nice side headlock. He's back in.
Excuse me, Jim. He and Fulton both have such great athletic ability. They can get around that ring, and the moves they can put on you sometimes catch you by surprise.
Now hot stuff Eddie Gilbert in there. I think he and Fulton and Rogers match up very favorably. Hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. Very interesting shot from overhead. We are coming to you, of course, live. If you've just joined us here on Superstation TBS, this is the Clash of Champions 4 Seasons Beatings. Side headlock by hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. Gilbert and Simmons controlling the tempo at this point. Nice football tackle by hot stuff Eddie Gilbert, the Lexington, Tennessee native, showing great quickness. Nice hip block, goes right back to the ropes, but he misses the elbow.
No doubt, the pace is really going to pick up now with Gilbert in there.
6 times referee of the year, Tommy Young assigned this very important contest. There's a great shot taking you right inside the ring. Nice arm bar. Gilbert's had some problems with his arm. He's not 100%, but mentally he is really fired up. He and Ron Simmons. Gilbert trying to get Fulton over the legs. Helped get him over, but he couldn't hold him down. Hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. One of the most controversial figures in the sport in recent years.
Shows you a little bit of why it was called hot stuff right there. As he had to do a little spreading around the ring.
Gilbert outfought there one move. Bobby Fulton, another veteran. Beautiful young lady here, and a lot of beautiful women and great wrestling fans here in the state of Tennessee. Fans from a several state area have converged on this beautiful facility here in the heart of the Lookout Mountains. Nice fireman carry takeover by hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. But a good reversal. Great counter wrestling by Bobby Fulton.
If you say that one thing has got to work in the favor of one of the teams, Jim, it would have to be in Fulton and Rogers' favor that they have wrestled together much longer than has the team of Simmons and Gilbert. And as you know, and all the wrestling fans really know, that means a great deal in tag team wrestling, getting to know each other and working so well together.
The Fantastics, I think, from the outset of this tournament were considered at least the co-favorite in this tournament. They have great experience. They know what it's like to wear the United States Tag Team Championship crown. We do agree with that sign wholeheartedly. Head scissor by hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. And remember, we talked about the tempo in the match. I had the opportunity to talk to all 4 of the participants in this match before he went on the air. And Eddie Gilbert was very candid in saying that we have to slow it down and we have to control the tempo. His partner, Ron Simmons, is the least experienced. Obviously, as I mentioned, the strongest man in the match, but he is the least experienced. And they want a compatible pace that Simmons can really function in. Nice move, inside cradle by Bobby Fulton. That was a near fall there, Bob, a 2 count.
Great block by Fulton when he came off. He was thinking ahead of Gilbert, and he knew just exactly what Gilbert was going to try to do, and it was a beautiful block. Now as they stand toe-to-toe, we got a shoving match going.
The painted face, yes, the Stinger is in the facility. I'll be talking with him later in the hour. The Road Warriors, this Road Warrior Animal and Dusty Rhodes, live right here tonight. I tell you, tempers, I think we can expect tempers to flare because there's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on these athletes, Bob, because the United States Tag Team Championship is really one of those prestigious tag team titles in the sport today.
Right next to the World Tag Team Championship. A lot is on the line. When that championship belt is on the line, it means money in the pocket of these athletes. And after all, they're professionals. And that's what they're in the ring for, and that's the money.
Ron Simmons will, I know from talking with him, as I mentioned, will like to use his strength, this hammer lock.
Watch out.
Simmons, now there's the mark of an inexperienced athlete. The experienced Bobby Fulton maneuvered Ron Simmons, and Fulton, even though he's a little bit smaller, really used his leverage right there to free himself from the maneuver. Ron Simmons can make a normal move, another inside cradle-type maneuver and quickness, the quickness of Bobby Fulton. And Ron Simmons knows that he has got to be aware of this. He needs to get where he can use some power, Bob. And as I mentioned, the hammerlock may be very simplistic in the minds of many, but with so much, with the strength of Ron Simmons, he can turn it into a very painful maneuver.
Well, again, right there, that's an example of it. He had Rogers on the mat, but he couldn't keep him down there. The quickness again of Rogers, he managed to kick out, get to his feet ahead of Simmons, and he just couldn't hold him to the mat.
Collar and elbow tie-up. Ron Simmons now back in the side headlock. Fulton steps in, or Rogers, excuse me, stepping in. Leverage is such a very important part of this match.
Jim, I think one thing we might point out to all the wrestling fans, too, as the match continues and progresses, and the longer it goes, good block right there by Simmons, but as longer as it goes, that's when the strength and the power ought to begin to overcome that quickness and that speed.
Rogers going up top, high risk here, he missed the elbow. Ron Simmons now back on his feet, down in a football stance.
There he goes. Boy, a lot of power there.
And he exploded out of the blocks. Rogers in the ropes. Simmons had his jersey retired this year from Florida State. He finished 8th in the Heisman Trophy balloting his senior year, and no defensive lineman has finished that high since Ron Simmons graduated from Bobby Bowden's Florida State Seminoles.
For the first time now during the match, we got an athlete in trouble, as Rogers is in bad trouble now. He might have been pinned earlier if he hadn't been close to the ropes.
10 minutes have expired, 20 minutes remain.
Trying to jockey for position. Quick move by Tommy Rogers. But Eddie Gilbert, I'll tell you what, I'll put his quickness up against anybody's.
Showing you a lot of speed and very good quickness in there and agility on the part of Gilbert.
Nice chain wrestling by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Trying to utilize, he did a single leg pickup, but he held on to the hammerlock. Half Nelson, he's got the left arm in a half Nelson position. The difference, obviously, there's several differences in pro and amateur wrestling, but we would have had a winner in amateur wrestling. It only takes a 1 count.
Just get the shoulders to the mat. You don't have to hold them there for any length of time. As you say, the 1 count, we'd have had it several times. And again, they work close to the ropes. I think Rogers needs to get to the corner. He needs to make a tag and get a fresh man in right now.
Rogers trying to position Gilbert for it. Looks like a snap mare. Rogers is so acrobatic and great quickness. A run over the top of Eddie Gilbert. Drag takedown, and Bob, I guess he heard you because he just made the tag, and Fulton with a drop kick on Eddie Gilbert follows it up with an arm drag. We talked about Eddie Gilbert. If he has any chink in his arm or any Achilles heel, it might be his elbow because he's had an injured arm.
Fulton came in, and when he came into the ring, he tried to turn it up a notch, too.
Lateral press, Gilbert getting his left shoulder up. Nice bridge by Eddie Gilbert, showing great strength. Fireman carry takeover, good basic amateur move, and both men back on their feet. And just by the look in their eyes, I'm thinking tempers are beginning to flare here somewhat.
You can see the sparks flying. They look each other right in the eye. They stand toe-to-toe, nose-to-nose. That again shows you just how much is riding on this match.
Collar and elbow, they're trying to get an advantage. Gilbert shoving Fulton, Fulton retaliating.
We might deteriorate to a brawl here now, the way they're looking at each other, the way they're going at it.
Considering we're here on Superstation TBS, live here on the Fall Brawl, obviously a great deal of pressure and a great deal can be gained, not just monetarily, but in stature by winning these titles. Big Ron Simmons now, let's see if he can use his power. What an impressive athlete, Bob.
He's going to try to get his weight on Fulton as much as possible. Make Fulton carry that weight around as much as he can, again, to try to wear him down, try to slow him down. And right now, Simmons is doing a good job of that.
My conversation with the Florida State Sports Information Office told me that Simmons he was the #1 priority on their list. But there's an overzealous Ron Simmons that made a mistake. Now we'll see if the Fantastics can capitalize on this error. Simmons, very enthusiastic, was going to deliver that big shoulder block. And now the Fantastics are showing us that they are indeed tag team specialists. And I emphasize the word team.
One mistake, and it only takes one just like that, and it can all be over. And Simmons, well, it all turned around, and now he's the one on the mat, and he's the one that's in trouble.
Tag made, and they're right in their corner. Well, these guys always have a great tag ratio. If you go back and look at videotape, you'll find that the Fantastics will tag sometimes 2 and 3 times as much as their opponents. And they're not just tags for the sake of tagging. They have a tremendous rhyme and reason for their tagging. They're great strategists.
Each man wrestles differently in the ring. You keep a different man coming in. You keep the other opponent off his feet. He doesn't exactly know what to look for each time the different man comes in. They're great at that.
Rogers with great quickness, causing Simmons to miss the elbow, and now right back with a lightning arm drag. Buries that knee into the bicep, and a rather large bicep, trying to knot it up, giving a Charlie horse-like effect. Obviously are trying to lessen the upper body effectiveness of Ron Simmons here by working on that arm and continually working on it. Simmons' greatest attribute in this match is his phenomenal strength, his power, and 1 or 2 big power moves by Ron Simmons. Well, Bobby Fulton coming around the bend here.
15 minutes have expired. 15 minutes remaining.
Gilbert's not in a corner, and Simmons is stretching back, trying to reach to him, trying to get a tag.
There's a good look at the youngster, Tommy Rogers, 27 years old, native of the great state of Florida. He and his partner, Bobby, are now from the City of the Angels. Big elbow, there's a power, and a nice tag, smart tag by Ron Simmons.
Well, let's see what Gilbert can do. He ought to turn it up a notch now. There's no doubt that Rogers has got to be a little tired. He's taking some heavy blows. Ooh, I thought he was going to have a pin.
Perfectly executed neck breaker by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
That's a great shot there, Jim.
Vertical suplex, and Gilbert may nail it. Lateral press, Gilbert neglected to grapevine the leg. Consequently, Rogers was able to use both legs in the kick out. Gilbert couldn't hold him down.
And as the match progresses, too, fans, conditioning is going to play an important factor here. Which one is the better conditioned athlete? Which one is going to be able to outlast the other?
Reversal and a suplex. Rogers stepped in very deeply. And a suplex on Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Rogers makes a very timely tag, but so does Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. And the fresh men, Simmons and Fulton, are back in the ring.
Just as soon as Simmons got in, Fulton put the brakes on and stopped as he was charging the head corner. He's got respect for this big, strong man.
Well, he better have, I'll tell you that. What a phenomenal athlete he is. And Fulton, watch bench press strength there. Simmons has over 500-pound bench press strength, and he just pushed Fulton right off of him. And Fulton now with a reverse chin lock. Fantastics. I think, Bob, the momentum has changed 2 or 3 times this match, for that matter. But right now, I think the Fantastics do have the advantage.
Well, he made a time. He gave an opportunity for a little double team on Simmons. Another quick try to pin.
Remember, fans, you're watching us live from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga Arena. The finals of the United States Tag Team Title Tournament. Near fall, a count of 2. Simmons kicks out of it. Rogers trying to mount some offense, but Big Ron just bullies Rogers back into the corner.
And Rogers is in the wrong corner, too, now.
Simmons, yes, he makes the tag. And now Gilbert knows that the tide has definitely turned here. With the gold on the line, the United States Tag Team Championship will go to the winner of this one. Atomic drop, and that'll send you to the chiropractor.
He had him high into the air, and he got a lot of power behind that one.
Gilbert following it up. That's great strategy. A couple of knees to the small of the back of Tommy Rogers. And Rogers is a long way away from his corner. And I'm sure Gilbert, if he has what has anything to say about it, we'll keep him there. Belly-to-back suplex.
Well, Rogers has taken a pounding in the last couple of minutes. With that shoulder up, just in the nick of time again.
We're talking 2.5 here.
Yes, sir.
A great camera shot that showed referee Tommy Young's hand coming down. Now I think we're going to see the power turned on by Ron Simmons. Elbows and a headbutt. He's working on the arm. Putting a lot of pressure on Tommy Rogers. I'm sure Simmons would like to maneuver Rogers back at least to the center of the ring.
He's got him out in the center now, and he's a long way from the tag. He's got the pressure on that arm, and Rogers is feeling it. Up on his tiptoes, trying to get some extra leverage. And Simmons staying right with it now.
Back into the corner, Tommy Young will call for the break. I feel confident we'll get a clean break. And Simmons adding a little extracurricular there.
Second time he's missed that.
You cannot hesitate against the Fantastics.
20 minutes have expired. 10 minutes remaining.
Ooh! Rogers tagged Fulton, and Fulton with a flying body press was caught in midair and power slammed by that big stallion from Florida State. And Simmons makes a very intelligent tag. A roll-up by hot stuff Eddie Gilbert, and Gilbert all the way through. He caught his arm on the steel post. He's holding his arm, Bob, and we were talking about that.
That's the injured arm, the one that has given him so much trouble that he had taped and wrapped before he hit it into that post. And this could be a turning point in the match right here.
Gilbert knocked off. His arm just hammered that steel railing or security railing surrounding the ring. And so once on the steel post and now on that railing, Gilbert has really felt it here. He's got his elbow padded.
His partner Simmons is down there trying to give him a little help and get him to his feet. Simmons showing a lot of concern too right here about Gilbert.
Remember, this is winner take all right here. I'm sure that obviously they do quite obviously know the stipulations in this match. There must be a winner in this one, and Gilbert is showing a tremendous amount of guts. He can't even, he can barely even, he's holding that arm at his side, Bob.
Shaking his head yes to the referee that he can continue, but the arm at this stage, it appears to be useless, just hanging at his side, up against his side.
I've known this kid a long time, Bob. He's a second-generation wrestler from Lexington, Tennessee. He's got that great Tennessee volunteer fighting spirit. He's not going to quit, I'll tell you that.
And Rogers is hesitant. He doesn't really know whether to go in and attack him or what to do.
Well, I'll tell you, he's got to take advantage of the opportunity. That's the way he has to look at it. It may be misfortune for him. That's what he's got to do right there. A drop toe hold, rolls right up, and now he's working on the arm, and what else can he do? We've got to look at the stakes in this match. The United States Tag Team Championship is on the line here.
Ask no quarter, show no quarter, and certainly show no mercy, and that's what's happening in the ring.
Eddie Gilbert, I tell you, a lot of guys would have never gotten back in the ring. He met the steel on 2 occasions within seconds of each other. And now Bobby Fulton in there. This is smart tag team wrestling by the Fantastics. They're doing what they have to do to win. And they're doing it legally.
The arm continuing to be twisted and pounded on by the Fantastics. Gilbert's in a tremendous amount of pain. He looks sort of prayerfully at the corner, trying to reach out for the tag, and they work right on it again.
Gilbert's elbow, you can see it's really puffed up. And Rogers drops the arm on the leg, on the arm of hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. Gilbert, the pain has got to be excruciating. I don't know if he can even hear this thunderous crowd as they are chanting and cheering him on.
Instinct and guts. That's what's keeping him going right now.
He can barely get his other arm up. This kid is in a tremendous amount of pain. But look at him fight. Tag made. Gilbert's close to his corner, but Fulton quickly cuts him off from making the tag. We can hear referee Tommy Young saying, you want to give it up, it's up to you. And Gilbert saying no. Look at him shake his head.
I think the Fantastics are about to smell the roses here, Jim. They feel that it's awfully close now, the condition they've got Gilbert in.
Well, I'll say this for the Fantastics. They have showed great sportsmanship and character. They've done it all by the rules. And right there, using the legs in an Indian deathlock type situation on the arm of Eddie Gilbert. And Gilbert's arm is getting larger, his elbow getting larger by the moment. His face is contorted with pain.
Well, they haven't let up on that arm. Since they heard it, they've been right to the arm every single time they've been in the ring. That's what they went after. And that's smart wrestling. You can't get away from that.
The pain on this young man has got to be excruciating. Remember, he realizes that this right here on national television, on Superstation TBS, for the very coveted United States Tag Team Championship, the long, grueling tournament culminates right here. The Clash of Champions 4 seasons beatings. Gilbert fighting his way out. He's rolled Rogers into a penny predicament. Can you believe that?
Unbelievable. He could get to his feet. He got Rogers' shoulders to the mat for a count of 2 before Rogers was able to counter. He's still a long way from a tag, though.
Nice drop toe hold there, and a tag made by Tommy Rogers.
Ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes remaining. 5 minutes remaining.
Thanks, Tony. So, I'm here especially
Fulton slamming Eddie Gilbert on that injured arm. He missed with a headbutt.
Every move they've made has been toward that arm.
Smart tag team wrestling, and Fulton rolling over to Ron Simmons, obviously to cut off the path for Eddie Gilbert to make a tag. Gilbert with one good arm is fighting with all he's got.
Good hip toss, too, that way.
Boys, Tommy Rogers has really wrenched in that hammer lock. Gilbert's arm is turning black and blue, fans. Look at the pressure that Rogers is applying to hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. I wonder if we go the time limiter, are we going to go sudden death?
You'll never see anyone with any more pained expression on their face than Gilbert. What a terrific battle he has put up against tremendous odds.
Back into the corner, referee calling for the break.
Jim, I don't care how great an athlete you are and how great a wrestler you are, you can't compete with one arm. There's just no way you can do it.
Rogers right back on the attack. Really wrenching back. You can see
4 minutes left in this match. 4 minutes.
Rogers arching his back, exerting all the strength that he can. Now he's up on a base where he can use his legs as well. Hammers the knee, and now pulling back on the arm of Eddie Gilbert. Well, I'll tell you what, you talk about picking out one body part after Gilbert hit the post and then the railing. But Gilbert's so resourceful, is still wrestling. He is still fighting these men.
It's taken so much out of him. Every time he's able to break it and tries to get to his feet, he's just not quick enough to get over for the tag. They're back on the attack before he can get close. He's going to make another effort here.
He's trying to get over to make the tag. And Fulton is the legal man. He did make the tag. Gilbert falls right out here on the concrete floor, right by us.
2 minutes remain in this 30-minute time limit. 2 minutes.
Fulton, he rolled him in right, Bob. He didn't rough him up. He rolled him in. Good sportsmanship by Bobby Fulton. But I think that, ooh, that was a right hand.
Fulton wants him in the ring. That's where they want to pin him. They want those championships. Good move.
He got him with a hot shot. Fulton came in, and Gilbert nailed Bobby Fulton with a hot shot.
1 minute remaining.
But I don't
1 minute.
Gilbert has enough stamina left. He needs to make the tag here. We're inside 1 minute. Jockeying for position. Oh, Gilbert just, his arm just hit the post for the 3rd time. Fulton's got him rolled up. And we've got new United States Tag Team Champions.
You got to say it was not a smart move on the part of Eddie Gilbert. When he broke free, he could have made a tag.
But Bob, there's so much pain going through this kid. Eddie Gilbert showed us that he And the Fantastics once again come to the UTC Arena here in Chattanooga, and they walk away with the United States Tag Team Championship. We'll take another look. Gilbert had utilized a hot shot out of desperation, but here comes perhaps the biggest mistake of the night. Gilbert went to deliver a big shoulder block. Fulton moved out of the way, and Gilbert hit the steel post. He met the steel for the third time, and Fulton cradles him up. 1, 2, and 3, and we have new United States Tag Team Champions, Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton.
By a pinfall from the City of Angels, Tommy Rogers, Bobby Fulton, the Fantastics!
Well, I'll tell you something, fans. It was a tremendous tag team event. They go within 30 seconds, Bob.
Right.
Going 30 minutes here, and we've got to hand it to Ron Simmons and Eddie Gilbert. A gallant fight, especially on Gilbert's part, but the Fantastics, this arena must be lucky for those guys.
And it was a great win for them. What a combination they are, and what a great team. As you say, United States Tag Team Champions, again, over a tremendous team, going through all of the competition they had to go through in the tournament to get there, and again, now here we are champions.
All right, fans, we're going to have more exciting action. Dr. Death and the Italian Stallion coming up in just a few moments.
Guest host Lex Luger. And Lex, once again, as it was once before, the Fantastics become U.S. Tag Team Champions here in Chattanooga at the UTC Arena. What a tremendous win for them. And in the same breath, hot stuff, Eddie Gilbert. What a tremendous effort for this young man, even with that injured arm.
Well, Tony, you know, if that's any indication of intensity, the kind of match we see tonight, boy, you better hold on to your seats. This is a showcase event. It's on national TV in front of millions of homes. It serves a dual purpose. Number one, you know we want to be at your best when you're in front of that many people. And number two, this is a major, big-time tune-up for the big event coming up, and that is Starrcade True Grit just over 2 weeks from now, Tony.
And, of course, that's your big night against the World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair, who will be in a tag team match tonight. He and Barry Windham against the Midnight Express.
I do have to say I have a special vested interest in watching here tonight. I try to get a match lined up with Nature Boy. We seem to have other plans. So what I'm talking about is I'm sitting here, I'm watching real close, and I'm scouting the Nature Boy out. But I would much prefer having my tights on after watching a match like that to sit here at the booth.
Yeah, it was a tremendous match. It almost went the time limit. We do understand, though, that right now we do have to go back to the ring. Is that to understand? Back to the ring? So let's go back to the ring right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next match of the evening, a one-fall, 30-minute time limit. To my right, from Naples, Italy, at 250 pounds, the Italian Stallion. And his opponent, the newest member of the Varsity Club, weighing in at 280 pounds, from Oklahoma, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. He's accompanied at ringside by his manager and mentor, Kevin Sullivan.
Champion Mike Rotunda. And of course, at Starrcade, on the day after Christmas on December 26th, I've got to think it is going to be a phenomenal event for the television championship. These fans here are cheering for Rick Steiner, and everybody says, well, Steiner's not too smart, but he's not going to be the one that's 40 feet up in the air. He's not so stupid.
I'll tell you what about being stupid. Stupid Steiner is so stupid.
How stupid is he, Mike?
He's stupid enough to think that he's going to take the title from me, Kevin. Is he a moron or what?
Rick Steiner is so dumb, Michael.
How dumb is he, Kevin?
He's so dumb that he thinks incarcerating me 40 feet in the air is going to keep me from doing anything.
Wasn't Houdini your cousin?
You know he was, Michael, and the other thing is this. Rick Steiner, I've been incarcerated many times, and I've always escaped. Michael, tell him what's going to happen to Bubble Brain.
Steiner, first of all, you're a Michigan graduate. That doesn't leave you with much right there. Second of all, you got to face a Syracuse University graduate, my friend. In Starrcade, you think you can get the job done? Well, I'm leaving with this, Steiner, at all costs, my friend.
All right, gentlemen, whatever will happen the day after Christmas. What a battle for the television championship. We'll see the newest member of the Varsity Club in action in just a moment. Season's beatings. Jim Ross and Bob Cottle here at ringside, coming to you live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's Dr. Death Steve Williams and the Italian Stallion.
Jim, we can look for a different type match in this. Both of these men are really super heavyweights. You got Dr. Death Steve Williams in there, 280 pounds. The Italian Stallion at 250. They both can rock the ring.
Nice Myron McCary takeover by Dr. Death Steve Williams. Williams wearing his Oklahoma University singlet. The Italian Stallion proudly displaying the colors of his native country, Italy. Good football tackle. Stallion puts Doc on his back. Nice reversal. The Italian Stallion drop kicking Doc right outside the ring. And the Italian Stallion has started off very, very quickly here.
Well, he's a great athlete and a good wrestler, Jim. He's a former two-time national AAU freestyle champion. So he's got the ability to get in there and compete, and that's what he's showing you.
Young man very proud of his Italian heritage. His family settling in the Detroit, Michigan area.
I'll tell you, though, Steve Williams, he's a high-impact, explosive type wrestler. He's exceptionally strong, powerful, with good speed and quickness for a man his size. This is going to be a good match.
Wrist lock by the Italian Stallion. The Stallion's first opportunity here on a Clash of Champions to show exactly what he's made of. Nice move there by Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Well, he's one of the newer breed of wrestlers, Jim, and they're having a big impact on the NWA. That's the outstanding college athlete, and that move he just put on the Stallion right there again shows you the experience that he had and some of the amateur athletic ability that goes along with it.
Doc with those climbing right hands to the back of the Italian Stallion sends him for the ride, but the Stallion catches Doc with a clothesline. You know, I tell you, I know that the camp of the Varsity Club is spending a lot of time concentrating about the match that I spoke with Rotunda and Sullivan about. That's, of course, at Starrcade 88 in the Norfolk Scope Arena on Monday night, December 26th, for the television title. We wonder that with so much focusing done on that match, Bob, could Dr. Death have come into this event somewhat overconfident and not giving the Italian Stallion his rightful due?
A tremendous mistake if he did that, but you know, he's a pro, and pros normally, they don't really look ahead. They know that any night they get in the ring against another professional, it can all end right there. So I think he's well prepared for this match.
Dr. Death showing that great strength, fall away slam. Williams has that great combination of being able to beat you with power moves or to be able to out-wrestle you. As an 18-year-old freshman at the University of Oklahoma, he won his first All-American honors. This is with the elbow, though.
It's just such things at that can really turn it around. There's Kevin Sullivan. He very keenly was looking at the action and watching what Dr. Death was doing in the ring. Right on top of it is Sullivan. He's always that way.
Italian Stallion, I know before we went on the air, I spoke with him, and he was very, very nervous about this match. He knows this is a great opportunity for himself, for his family, for him to really excel here on the Superstation TBS. This live broadcast. Stallion has slowed the pace down now.
He's got big, strong, powerful legs, and with that arm and that leg lock, he can put the pressure on it. He can hurt Williams with this.
Williams, though, rolling Stallion back over on his shoulders. And Doc is using the ropes for leverage. Well, I guess we could say that he's learning his lessons well from Sullivan.
He learned that from Kevin Sullivan, I'm sure of that.
He certainly did not learn it from Coach Stan Abel of the University of Oklahoma Sooners, I'll tell you that. Williams, four-time All-American there, Bob, and he's the only four-time All-American in pro wrestling today. And he doesn't need to do that. That is what is so frustrating about this whole varsity club situation is that Rotunda is also a phenomenal wrestler. There's nobody any better than Rotunda in the ring, technically, but he'll break every rule in the book, and I got to think that's Sullivan's philosophy.
That's Sullivan's influence and his philosophy on both Mike Rotunda and also on Steve Williams. Well, Sullivan heard you, and you heard his comment. Rules are made to be broken.
Yeah, well, some people that break rules get put in small cages and they go 40 feet in the air where they can't break any rules.
That's where we're going to see that guy, too. Hey, I was thinking about Williams. You know, he really likes it when things get wild and rough in the ring. With the background, we talked about it earlier, with his speed and his size and his quickness, he can wrestle with you, he can brawl with you. And right now, he's going to brawl it out if he can with the Stallion. But he missed that one twice.
Nice flying body press by the Italian Stallion. But look at Doc's strength. Williams just bench pressed the Stallion all the way out here to the concrete right by us.
I almost caught him in midair when he came flying through the ropes. He was almost in our lap.
5 minutes remain in this time limit. Expired. 25 minutes remain.
I tell you, Dr. Death's face will tell a big story in this match. He is a nasty individual. When motivated, he can be bad, and now Sullivan says rules are made to be broken.
Sullivan.
And so are noses, as far as he's concerned, and ribs, and arms. And I want to tell you something. He's got one of the most physically intimidating men walking the face of the earth in the squared circle. Dr. Death is, well, I'll tell you something. I think a lot of wrestling fans would agree that Williams is as tough as they come.
When you're as big and you're as strong and you're as powerful as that guy, you can do most anything you want to.
Doc planting both feet into the solar plexus of the Italian Stallion, and Doc follows him outside. Williams will look at Williams taunt the Italian Stallion.
That's the extra dimension that Kevin Sullivan has added to the arsenal of Dr. Death Steve Williams. He's made him an awesome individual.
Well, I'm a firm believer in positive motivation, but this is destructive motivation. And look at Williams hammering the Stallion. They could both be counted out here. Teddy Long, another one of the fine officials here in the NWA, signed this one as the fans look on here from the UTC Arena. We are coming to you live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And remember, fans, still to come, the big handicap match involving Ivan Koloff and Paul Jones, Road Warrior Animal and Dusty Rhodes, and the Tag Team Supreme, the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette, meeting Ric Flair and Barry Windham, all right here tonight live on the Superstation. And look at this strength.
250 pounds. He lifted him over that top rope, held him high, straight up in the air for that suplex.
The Stallion shows a lot of intestinal fortitude and strength by kicking out. He's fighting back. The young kid originally from Naples, Italy, showing a lot of fire and a lot of heart here. This kid really wants to succeed here in the NWA, but he is in there with a monster.
In the opening moments of the match, the Stallion had a lot of it going his way, but as Dr. Death warmed up, he's really turned it around, and it's been the Stallion who's been in trouble in the last several minutes. You better believe he's going to stay on top of you, too.
Dr. Death Steve Williams now with a modified version, it looks like, of the sleeper hold. Williams is one tough man. He's tougher than Geraldo Rivera's nose, I'll tell you that.
You know, I was thinking, you was talking about our handicap match coming up, and earlier I said a man with one arm can't beat a man with two arms. That handicap match, we're going to see that Ivan Koloff is going to have an arm tied behind his back, Jim. That's a real handicap match.
Doc really wrenching down now on the Italian Stallion. The Stallion looks like he's fading fast here as Williams really turns up the gas. Reverse chin lock. Those big, powerful shoulders of Dr. Death Steve Williams. You know, in the next few weeks, the NWA always has...
Ladies and gentlemen, 10 minutes have expired. 20 minutes remain.
Battle Royals, and these Battle Royals are just made for a guy like a Dr. Death Steve Williams. He likes to, on the football field, 22 guys out there, and he survived 4 years of major college football.
When you talk about that, that's where power and brawn really take over in the muscle. Now you see it. Look at this. There's a struggle of power for you.
Italian Stallion with a very wide base, showing leverage, and Williams powers him back down. Teddy Long in great position there. The Stallion really He spent a lot of strength and energy coming back up to his feet, and Williams just jerked him back down.
Jim, I think it's going to be interesting to see how two men this big, this heavy, and it's hot in here with all the lights on it they're under, just how long they can continue to go at this pace. It's been a quick-paced match. They've been at it now for several minutes. They're perspiring heavily. Just how long are they going to be able to continue and keep going at this pace?
Once again, the Stallion fights his way back up. Williams is holding on to the reverse chin lock. Stallion buries the elbow and now follows it with the right hand. Gets some momentum, and he nailed Doc with a big clothesline.
Boy, that clothesline will just about take your head off, and he hit him flush with it.
It's been his best move, but that one isn't. Too much hesitation. He went to the well. It was dry. Doc has moved out of the way. Williams has got great quickness for a 280-pounder. He played offensive right guard for Oklahoma. He'd pull out of there and lead those sweeps from time to time. So he does have quickness.
He looked like he was blocking the cornerback on that one when he got that shoulder right into the Stallion.
Standing drop kick by Williams. Cradling the Italian Stallion. Stallion, powerful legs, kicks out of it. But Doc right back, picks his legs up. Twists that ankle right back around. As Bob Cottle mentioned, the Italian Stallion, two-time national AAU freestyle champion at 220 pounds. He's quite a bit bigger than that.
Man's got a tremendous physique on him, too. A lot of muscles, a lot of power, and a lot of strength. But there's Sullivan now right in his face, and he's going to taunt the opponent at every chance he gets. That's a distracting thing when you got somebody in your face talking to you, hollering at you. You got somebody really got a wrestling move on you. That's tough to compete with Sullivan outside.
Certainly is. Rick Steiner will not have to contend with that. Cute young lady. Fans, I'll tell you, this play, what a great crowd we have here, and they are enthusiastic. Doc really wrenching back on that leg, almost in a half Boston Crab-like position. Looks like those guys just came off the set of Deliverance. Those bib overalls on, reminds me back home in Oklahoma.
Well, the size and the strength and the power in the shoulders and the arms and across that chest of Steve Williams, he can really put the power on that leg and the pressure, and that's exactly what he's got. And here's Sullivan again, right in the face of the Stallion.
Doc goes to the ropes, buries the knee, and Doc kicks Stallion right out on the apron. I'd really get a little apprehensive with Sullivan circling the ring here like a vulture waiting on a fallen prey to take advantage.
I want to get somebody to watch my back when Sullivan's behind us. There again he goes after the Stallion.
The Sullivan factor coming into play here, and Williams is controlling the match and controlling the tempo. Sullivan with that maniacal laugh right around the corner from us. Double axe handle blow by Dr. Steve Williams.
The Stallion now is in danger of really being hurt and counted out. They've got him in bad shape outside of the ring. Williams has landed a heavy blows. That one off of the apron, all the way from the apron with all of that weight behind it. Now he's going to put him back to the ring.
Well, the Stallion is going to show some fight. I want to tell you something. This kid, he came here to wrestle. He came here to win. And that is a great attitude. They may say, well, why else would he come here? But he came here to take it right to Dr. Death, and that's what he's doing right here.
And the crowd in the arena loves it.
Inverted atomic drop by the doctor. A doctor of pain, agony, and blues. The most recruited high school lineman in America his senior year. Dr. Death narrowed his choices to the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Oklahoma Sooners.
Minutes have expired. 15 minutes remain.
He was going to play for the Big Red, either the Big Red of the North or the Big Red of the South.
And was Barry Switzer and the folks at Oklahoma ever glad to get this man?
Just like Kevin Sullivan. Sullivan did a great recruiting job. Dr. Death is now in his fold. There wasn't as much rejoicing in Doc's home state when he went with Sullivan as when he went with Barry Switzer.
Good hard power slam. Boy, that takes a lot of power to lift a man that heavy, that high, and power into the mat. Watch out.
He's hesitating a long time. Doc come off the top with the big splash, but he hesitated, and the Stallion quickly moves out of the way. Now let's see if the young man from Italy can take advantage of this opportunity.
Jim, you called it right on the button. Williams just took too long.
Great drop kick by the Stallion. This youngster's taking it to Dr. Death. Power slam, but he didn't cover him there. Find that unusual. He's going to send him to the right. No, Doc reverses it. Misses with a clothesline. Catches him in midair. Uh-oh. You can measure this one on the Richter scale.
Stampede.
The Oklahoma Stampede. And when he nails you with that one, it is over. Case closed, as the big cat used to say. Dr. Steve Williams and his Oklahoma Stampede coming through with a convincing yet hard-fought victory. Bob, look at the strength here. Watch him catch this man at 260 pounds right in midair.
Scooped him right up off the mat. Got him back in position out of that corner for that Stampede. And as you say, Jim, you don't get up from this. Watch that power. Tremendous.
Great elevation, tremendous power by Dr. Steve Williams. A victory here on the Clash of Champions 4.
Your winner by a pinfall, the big guy from Oklahoma, Dr. Death, Steve Williams.
I'm Magnum TA, and I got some good news to report to the NWA. Longtime Paul Jones been strutting around here. Now he's run Nikita Koloff out of professional wrestling. But there's a man coming in, the Junkyard Dog, 6'4", 325 romping, stomping pounds, has come here to take care of business.
You know, man, I was on my way to North Kakalaka, by the way of South Kakalaka, Virginia, and all those places, and my telephone met the riddle, and it said, dog. Everybody needs a bone to Jones. And Koloff said, dog, I need some help. And I took my hat off and I told my wife, I'm on my way to the NWA. So I'm 6'4", 325 pounds. I'm nothing but twisted steel and no sex appeal. But I'm gonna tell you something, baby. It's not recess time, so I'm not here to play. I'm here to match and stay.
You're going to get your chance December 26th, Starrcade 1988. You and Ivan Koloff going up against the Russian Assassins, and a very special stipulation, because when you put them down, the Russian Assassins got to unmask, and Paul Jones will be forced into retirement.
Paul Jones ain't nothing but the devil. And I'm the only man that stepped in the devil's door, kicked the door down, and I made his natural mama frown. So Paul Jones, if you want to mess around, and like I told you, time and time again, every dog needs a bone to chew on, and I found myself a bone.
Well, that's it. The JYD found himself a bone. He's going to take care of business. Take care of business the Junkyard Dog's way. Let's go back ringside right now with Jim Ross.
Thanks very much, Magnum TA. It's great to see the Junkyard Dog back. Fans, we have so much more to come. That big handicap match we've been talking about, plus the tag team match, the Midnight Express versus Ric Flair and Barry Windham, and The Collision. Road Warrior Animal and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, will get it on live right here tonight as we're coming to you live on Clash of Champions 4 Seasons Beatings. It's going to be phenomenal. Don't go away. So much more great action right here tonight. Remember, Rhodes is here, Animal is here. They're going to hook it up right here in the squared circle. And as we said, fans, there you see it right there. The altercation that started it all. Dusty Rhodes is here for revenge, an eye for an eye. It's going to happen tonight, an eye for an eye. Rhodes wants revenge. It will be physical, and we'll have that and much more in just a moment.
Available live on pay-per-view in the comfort of your own home. Starrcade 88, True Grit. Call now to be a part of the rich tradition that is Starrcade. No way out for 5-time World Heavyweight Champion Nature Boy Ric Flair as he collides with the awesome power of Total Package Lex Luger in a no disqualification all-out war. Plus, former friends become foes as American Dream Dusty Rhodes and Sting tag up for revenge against the might of the Road Warriors. And U.S. Heavyweight Champion Barry Windham takes a test of true grit as Big Boy Bam Bam Bigelow gets his shot at the belt. NWA wrestling will never be the same, and you're going to see it all. The Midnight Express's fight for supremacy. The Russian assassins put up their identity at Paul Jones' job against the bite of Ivan Koloff and the Junkyard Dog. Plus, the Fantastics, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Ron Simmons, and an explosive Rick Steiner-Mike Rotundo battle for the World Television title. Spend your holidays with the best in professional wrestling, live from Norfolk, Virginia, and only on pay-per-view. Call now to reserve your ringside seat in your very own home. Starcade 88. True grit. 3 full hours of action, strength, and power. Don't miss it. Call your local cable operator before Friday, December 23rd. Don't miss out on this great event due to holiday vacation.
For our next match of the evening, from the outer Ukraine of the Soviet Union, tipping the scales at 120 kilos, the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff. His opponent from Houston, Texas, weighing in at 240 pounds, Mr. Paul Jones. This is a one-fall handicap match in which Ivan Koloff will wrestle with one hand tied behind his back.
All right, y'all, as you grow up as a youngster, I can whip you with one hand tied behind.
Yeah, how many times have you said that? A number of times, I'm sure.
I've never said that.
We're going to see if that can truly happen right here. You know, I was thinking as they were getting into the ring, Jim, a lot of times you say this is a grudge match or something of that nature. This is much more than that. This is no grudge. These guys are mortal enemies. Once friends, Paul Jones had Ivan Koloff in his camp, and you know, sometimes when friends fall out and friends disagree, they become the worst type enemies, and that's what you've got here. And that's why, really, Koloff agreed to such a match. I don't think he should have done that. I don't think you should tie your hand behind your back against anybody, much less somebody like Paul Jones.
But that's the only way that Jones would get in the ring with Ivan Koloff, is for Ivan to tie that one hand behind him. I'll tell you one thing, at Starcade, Ivan's got a big, bad 325-pounder as his partner. There'll be nobody with their hands tied behind their backs. It'll just be man on man. I mean, big man on big man.
Big man on big man, and he's the meanest dog in a lot, and that's the Junkyard. You know, the way that rope's around Ivan's across his shoulder and over to his arm, that almost could develop into something you could choke the man with.
Ivan taking Jones right down, and Paul Jones looks to be very fit for a manager, but I don't know if he is in tip-top wrestling shape or not.
I think you're 100% right. There's no doubt. Jones is over the hill as far as a wrestler goes, but he developed into becoming a great manager. And, you know, Jim, over the years, he has had the meanest, roughest, toughest. He's put the money on the line. He's went out, he's paid, he's bought them, and he's brought them in.
Single leg pickup by Ivan Koloff. Jones has had a very successful career as a wrestler in years gone by. My colleague Bob Cottle has seen, I think, Paul Jones in many stages and many championships.
That's right. He's held a number of championships over his career. And when we talk about being over the hill, he's still a very dangerous man in that ring and still an outstanding competitor in wrestling. But the hatred between these men is what brought them together in the ring. And when you got that kind of hatred and the adrenaline is flowing, you can expect anything. Hey, was that to you or me?
That was for you, Bob.
Okay, good.
All right, right hand. And what else would it be? It's not going to be his left hand because it's tied behind him. Paul Jones. Now look at Jones. He's begging for Koloff to back up. He talked big about this match. He wanted the wrestling match. He's got one hand tied behind him, and Jones is crying.
I think Jones now wants to stop it and say, let's tie the other one behind his back also.
Headbutt right to the shoulder. Down goes Paul Jones.
Ivan's going to use all the weapons he's got.
Eddie Long, I tell you, I hate to be officiating a lot of things in my time, Bob. I don't think I've ever officiated a wrestling match with one guy having an arm tied behind him. Very unusual.
Hey, can you imagine the kind of flack that Jones is going to get if he loses this match to a man with one arm tied behind him? He'd never live it down. How are you going to live down a thing like that?
A locking hand, I said, singularly. Headbutt.
He hit right on his face, too, when he hit that mat, right on that nose.
Ivan Koloff kicking away at Paul Jones. Picking Jones up right by the hair.
And for the hair, and you can do a lot with that.
Taking him right to the corners. Ramming his head into the top turnbuckle. And now, well, it looks like he's going to go full circle here.
Turnbuckle to turnbuckle to turnbuckle, and here we come.
Look at Jones begging Ivan not to hurt him. Man, he talks a great fight, doesn't he?
Koloff with huge hands, and he got that big hand right around the throat of Paul Jones.
Trying to choke him down. I know Jones is not pleased whatsoever of the appearance of the Junkyard Dog, especially his appearance on December the 26th in Norfolk. But look, Ivan is he's trying to choke the breath and possibly the life right out of Paul Jones here.
We talked about the hatred between these two, and I think it's very evident the way they're going at each other in the ring.
Remember, fans still do come here on our live broadcast of Clash of Champions 4. Road Warrior Animal and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, one-on-one right here tonight. And then you're going to see Jim Cornette's Midnight Express take on Ric Flair and Barry Windham and what could be the greatest tag team event ever witnessed on live television.
We're going to batten down the hatches when those two matches get underway because it's going to rock and roll, and that's going to be tough. Going to be a slam-bam affair when you get those two underway. Right now, here's what... Hey, we talked about that rope around his shoulder. Jones has figured that out.
Jones.
5 minutes have expired. 25 minutes remain.
He's choking Ivan Koloff with that rope there. You see, great camera work. It takes you right inside the ring. I know that Ivan was so anxious to get his hands on Paul Jones. Well, they've rolled outside here, and let's hope they stay away from us.
Watch out. They're coming our way.
And I tell you, the ring moved. The ring moved, and Ivan may be incapacitated here. His free arm, his right arm, hammered, reminiscent of what happened to Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert in our U.S. Championship match as he sustained a serious arm injury. And Koloff cannot afford, Bob, to have his right arm incapacitated in this match.
No way, the other one with his back. You know, another thing it does with an arm tied behind your back, it keeps you off balance. You don't have the balance that you would normally have with that other arm, and you can't catch yourself with the arm. Any number of things. It really throws your whole wrestling off.
Ivan gets back in the ring, and that's not an easy thing to do either. One hand tied behind you. And now Jones stomping on the free hand of Ivan Koloff. Look, he's right over him taunting him like, get up and fight like a man.
Yeah.
He's got one hand tied behind him, for goodness sakes.
See there, all he had to do was just kick that one hand out, and right away Koloff just plopped right back down on his face.
Jones drops a knee to the back of Ivan Koloff.
If he can keep that other hand tied up, he's got him. Nothing that Ivan Koloff could do.
One fall to a finish here. Tremendous crowd looks on. Goes Ivan to the ropes. He caught Jones coming off with a right hand. Jones was not prepared for that. And Ivan Koloff with a series of right hands, and Paul Jones takes the easy way out. Look, he's got something in his hand.
Well, the power that Koloff had in those blows, you only need one hand. What has Jones got? I don't know what kind of weapon it was, but he got Koloff right in the throat with it.
That shows you just exactly what kind of man Paul Jones is. The kind of man that will cheat, he will lie to you, and take advantage of any opportunity. But Ivan fights back. Ivan, a great ring veteran, a man that has held over 20 wrestling championships in his long, illustrious career.
Jim, he's mixed it up with the best, the dirtiest in any way, too, over his career. Yeah, he's got it.
Ivan just nailed Jones with a foreign object that Jones brought in the ring. He just beat Paul Jones with one hand tied behind him. Ivan Koloff has just beaten Paul Jones.
Wait a minute, watch out. They're the assassins. Well, he's still got that hand tied behind his back.
The Russian team, we knew they probably wouldn't be far behind, and they are kicking Ivan Koloff into oblivion. The fans here are irate at this situation. They're double and triple teaming Ivan Koloff, who has beaten Paul Jones with one hand tied behind him. The Russian, they come off on Ivan. Here comes the junkyard dog with a chain. He's got his chain with him, and the 325-pounder. He does need a dog, a bone to chew on. He was going to chew on some Russians if they hadn't hit the skids.
Isn't it amazing just how quickly they got out of the ring? And fans, will be back. We'll have more right after we take this time out.
Okay, back with the total package, Lex Luger, and Ivan Koloff wins the match. The Russian assassins come in, and to the aid of Ivan Koloff, the junkyard dog, and I'm sure he really needed the help right there.
Well, I'll tell you, it looks like the Russian assassin, Paul Jones, are borrowing a page out of the tactics book of the Horsemen. Obviously, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, but they had a little surprise for themselves there when the JYD came down. I've been an admirer of his for a long time. He's a man I think Ivan Koloff can depend on in a situation like that, as we well saw.
Okay, let's talk about situations. Coming up next, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, going up against Road Warrior Animal. The winner of that match will be able to claim the World Six-Man Tag Team title. But I'm not so sure that's what's in the mind of Road Warrior Animal right now. They've tried to take out Sting. They've tried to take out Dusty Rhodes. Who knows where they're going to go, Lex?
You know, it's a situation. I've been back to the locker just a while ago. The tension. First of all, you got a big event tonight and millions of homes across national TV. And Tony, lots at stake. And you add in the thing with the Road Warriors, and it's something nobody understands. It's a situation where the tension back there right now is so thick. I see Dusty, he's pacing back and forth. Tension's so thick, I hate to borrow a cliche, but you can cut it with a knife. And the situation with the Road Warriors being that people always loved the bad boys, the Road Warriors. You know, they've always loved that image of the Road Warriors with the paint and the leather and the spikes. But you see, it goes much further than that now. They're not just bad boys anymore. We all got people we support, moms we have to feed. They tried to break Stinger's neck. They tried to take Dusty Rhodes' eye out. This is much more serious. This is a black mark on all professional wrestling. Now, I'll tell you, I don't know what they're going to do next. I really can't understand where their heads are at all.
I think that's a good point, Lex, and it'll be for, of course, to claim that World Six-Man Tag Team title. Dusty Rhodes has held that belt before, and of course, if Road Warrior Animal wins, he and Road Warrior Hawk will select their partner.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting on the arrival of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Road Warrior Animal more than ready in the ring right now. Now this match, the winner of this match will be able to choose their partner or partners to become the new six-man tag team champions of the world. The disqualification rule, just exactly like Lex Luger and Ric Flair will have at Starrcade, has been waived. In other words, in this match, a disqualification will count the same as a pinfall. But Dusty Rhodes apparently is late getting to this facility. Until we find out more about that, let's go up to Magnum TA, who is standing by with Rick Steiner.
Rick Steiner, you know, this is my first opportunity to really interview you since you made your break from the Varsity Club. And I've been watching your wrestling style real closely, you know. And your specialty, your forte, you may say, seems to be that belly-to-belly suplex.
Yeah, you know, I've been in training, you know, and I've been eating a lot of fortes and suplex, and I had muscle. Today.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that wrestling style of yours, that belly-to-belly suplex. That's the same thing I used to use.
You used to use that?
Yeah, I used to use that.
I use it.
Well, you do it real good, and I'm saying.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Alex taught me how to do it. He taught me real good. He talks to me all the.
Well, wait a minute. You know, let's talk about Alex.
You haven't met Alex.
No, but Alex is just kind of like an extension of your personality. I mean, Alex isn't. I mean, he isn't a person.
No, Alex is all about. He's his own man. He tells me what to do all the time. He's the only guy. He helps me out. You know.
Well, just how long have you and Alex been together?
Years and years.
Well, I hope Alex is getting you ready, because you got a shot at the World Television title coming up at Starrcade, and I hope he's got you geared up, because it's coming up and it's the biggest match of a lifetime.
Michael, I'm gonna beat you to death! Alex.
Well, fans, I'll tell you, maybe Alex knows where Dusty Rhodes is, because we certainly don't. We're gonna obviously check in the situation. Let's take a commercial break while we await the arrival of the American Dream. Chomping at the bit, and here comes the American Dream. With his six-man world title belt, the winner of this match will be the six-man tag team champions and have the opportunity to pick their partner. The bionic elbow, Paul Ellering nailed by Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes with that patch over his eye.
He's got that patch painted too, just like the Warriors.
Remember, the disqualification rule has been waived. Ooh, what a clothesline. Clothesline by the American Dream. He'd be walking, and he's bad right here. Over 300 pounds from Allen, Texas. Road Warrior Animal. Big elbow right to the face of the American Dream.
Well, Animal very quickly found out where Dusty Rhodes was as Dusty came charging to the ring.
Rhodes pulling him out. Rhodes has got the leg of Animal. And he wraps it around the steel. He's trying to break his leg right here.
It's payback time from Dusty Rhodes. There's a very concerned Paul Ellering as you saw him outside the ring.
Well, as they say, you can't judge a book by its cover. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. There's a lot of fight left in that veteran, one eye or not.
He's going to stay with that leg. He's got it in trouble, and Dusty, the veteran that he is, will stick with it.
Tremendous intensity in this match. You can cut the intensity with a knife here on the floor of the UTC Arena. And Rhodes just knocked the referee right out of the ring. That's not too smart.
He's got the figure four locked in too, Jim. Here's Ellering.
Ellering hammering away at Rhodes right in the eye. Rhodes' eye is heavily bandaged. He's got a patch over his right eye. And look at Animal trying to take that protective bandage and that patch off of it. Rhodes was under doctor's care for quite some time after the injury. Single leg pickup, and Rhodes is fighting with everything he has. Now he rakes at the eye of Road Warrior Animal.
The eye for the eye.
Here's Hawk. Hawk now. Hawk, this match is breaking down. Hawk and Animal.
No referee in the ring, and it's completely out of hand. It's completely broken down.
Rhodes threw the referee out of the ring. He may be getting disqualified. They're trying to set him up just like Sting. Here comes the Stinger. The Stinger is cooking. They don't want to wait. The Starrcade on December 26th. Rhodes has a chair. One eye or not, he's back in the ring. Rhodes wants to break the leg of Animal. Sting and Hawk are fighting outside. Rhodes has destroyed that steel chair. Hawk thrown it to the railing. And Sting and the American Dream are standing tall. Starrcade, what a happening that will be. Can they control their emotion? And we still don't have the official word on that match.
All right, Jim, we can watch it again. Part of it right here in slow motion as Dusty Rhodes goes to the eye now of Animal, and pretty soon Hawk's going to come in.
But Bob, more importantly, Tommy Young, the referee, said Rhodes is disqualified for using a chair. The winner of the match is Road Warrior Animal, so the Road Warriors will be the six-man champions. But right here, we see them double-teaming him and double-teaming him. This is the unprovoked attack. It was 2-on-1. They were setting him up. They tried to break Sting's neck in Richmond, Virginia. And that's what they were going to do to Dusty Rhodes right here. Look at Animal signaling, go up top, Hawk, go up top, and we'll break the big man's neck. He won't make it to Starrcade. But the Stinger hits the ring, Bob, and then it was an entirely different story.
He hit it just in the nick of time, too, as they had the Dream all set up for it, and there came Sting just in the nick of time to save his partner.
The Stinger with some thunderous right hands. And baby, if you don't think it's not going to be hot at the Norfolk Scope Arena the day after Christmas, you're sadly mistaken. And we've got a lot more action. The Midnight Express and Ric Flair and Barry Windham are still coming up. But look here, Rhodes brings the chair. This gets him disqualified, and this causes him to lose the six-man tag team championship.
I think he was so mad, he was so irate at this point, he wasn't thinking championship. He was just thinking payback time. Let me hurt him. Let me do all I can, and that's the reason he got the chair.
He broke that steel chair, keeps hammering away. He wants to break a leg right here. An eye for an eye, and we'll be back. The Clash of Champions continues. Don't go away.
Tony Schiavone, Lex Luger, that was a wild ending to that match, wasn't it?
I'll tell you, Tony Schiavone, this is a prelude. I mean, I got to take my jacket off because I'm getting adrenaline flowing just like everybody else in the arena, anybody out there watching. This is the prelude, as this is a thing to come and start cave to. Boy, we're going to blow the roof off that joint in Norfolk, Virginia in 2 weeks because, man, now I got to sit here and watch a Nature Boy wrestle. Boy, I know if I can contain myself.
It's going up against the Midnight Express and world champion Ric Flair. It should be a great match, but right now, let's go to the ring.
And he's your friend and mine, Mr. Jim Cornette. Ladies and gentlemen, for our next match this evening, from Sweetwater, Texas, he is the U.S. heavyweight champion, tipping the scales at 260 pounds, Barry Windham. His tag team partner from Charlotte, North Carolina, he's a limo-riding, jet-flying son of a gun. He's all smoke, diamonds, and glitter. The NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Slick Ric Flair.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the introductions have been completed for this, our final event here on the Clash of Champions 4 Seasons Beatings. And talk about a dream come true. Bob, I've often wondered what it would be like to see the caliber of athletes like Ric Flair and Barry Windham, who I consider the two top single wrestlers in the world today, against what many consider, and I am one of those, the smoothest, the finest tag team in wrestling, Jim Cornette's Midnight Express. What would it be like? And we're going to be sitting right here. Where else would you rather be than in Chattanooga, Tennessee, coming to you live? And Bob, you and I are right here at ringside.
Oh, man, and I tell you, I've really been looking forward to this. As you say, two of the most prestigious championships in sports, the World Tag Team, the World Champion and the United States Champion, the two top championships in professional wrestling in one corner. And I don't think you can find a better tag team than the Midnight Express. And of course, they got that little extra in that corner in Jim Cornette. Bobby Eaton, the high flyer. All of them are tremendous athletes. It's going to be a great match from the opening bell.
Jim Cornette will join David Crockett this Saturday morning at 11:05 Eastern Time here on Superstation TBS for Championship Wrestling. And I'd also like to extend an invitation for you fans to join Tony Schiavone and I this Saturday at 6:05 Eastern Time on World Championship Wrestling, of course, right here on Superstation TBS.
I think David may have a tough time getting a word in with Cornette, too. All right, here we go.
Ric Flair and Bobby Eaton starting it off. Slick Rick, as Lex Luger looks on with our colleague Tony Schiavone.
Jim, I have been hankering for a long time to see these two in the ring going at each other. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Bobby Eaton shows he's not going to be intimidated by the Nature Boy or the United States champion Barry Windham. Bobby Eaton doing a little styling and profiling himself. The native of Huntsville, Alabama, strutting his stuff, and nobody does it any better in the squared circle than beautiful Bobby Eaton. He and Sweet Stan, the only team in NWA history to simultaneously hold the World Tag titles and the United States Tag titles.
Show you just how quick he is. You know, Flair never saw that blow coming. That came from left field, pow, and he was down even before he saw it.
Collar and elbow tie-up. Nature Boy maneuvers Eaton around. Flair, big chop, chest.
Well, he's most dangerous in that corner, but look at Eaton come out.
Eaton is a fighter. He's fighting right back. Sends Flair for the ride. High elevation. Windham tries to sneak in, but to no avail. Eaton with another right hand to the jaw of the Nature Boy. Inside, upside down.
Ooh. Boy, I thought we had him right on top of us that time.
And Flair came right down the ring apron, ran into a fist. And not a fist, it is the fist, the right face of Stan Lane. And the man with educated feet with a karate kick to the face of the Nature Boy, the heavyweight champion of the world.
He's got so much speed and power in those kicks of his. He floored the champion with that one. Oh, well, that shows you why Flair is a champion.
Tag is made. Nice move by Stan Lane. Karate kick to the back of Flair's head. After Flair had made the tag, the Nature Boy held on to the foot. And he held on to it, I think we safely say, Bob, too long.
Too long. And Wyndham, as he got into the ring after that tag, he's got a real dazed look in those eyes of his, like he can't believe what he was seeing.
Wyndham sent for the ride. Great athletic ability. The big youngster from Sweetwater. Drop kick by Stan Lane. Wyndham 6'6", 260 pounds. He'll defend the United States Heavyweight Championship against the Beast from the East. The man with the tattooed skull, Bam Bam Bigelow at Starrcade 88.
Oh, we talk about what great individual athletes they are, and all four of them are that. And of course, one thing I think it's working in the favor of Lane and Eaton, and that is the fact that they've worked as a tag team. And of course, you see Ric Flair and you see Barry Windham more as singles, not very often as tag team partners.
But Bob, I'll tell you, their skill is so superior.
Absolutely.
As single wrestlers. I think we got to call this one a toss-up.
Absolutely. Now Windham, watch this. They're all great athletes.
Windham up top. Oh, he missed with the elbow. It looked like a giant eagle flying through the air. And Lane retaliates with a drop kick and a karate kick to the midsection. And over the top rope goes Barry Windham.
Over the rope and into that steel fence that's around the ring, and he hit it full force. Now they're all out of the ring right here at us.
Yeah, look, too close for comfort here. Oh, what a right hand. Bobby Eaton came from downtown on that one. Wyndham pulls himself back up, and Lane helps him back in the ring. Tag made, beautiful Bobby back in.
Well, they express they tag a lot. They tag often. They try to keep a different man in the ring, try to keep the opponent confused. They're doing a good job of it.
You know, as Jim Cornette has been a real thorn in the side of J.J. Dillon. It was Cornette's team that took the world tag titles away from J.J. Dillon's company. Dillon hasn't forgotten that. Nice football tackle by beautiful Bobby Eaton. What movement by the champion of the world.
Boy, Flair got high in the air on that one, too. Good, beautiful hip toss by Eaton.
What counter wrestling. And beautiful Bobby scooping the world's heavyweight champion.
He scooped the big man.
Flair catches Eaton coming in, though, with a right hand. Chops now. A double-team effort by Flair and Windham. Oh, what a double clothesline! Beautiful Bobby flew through the air. Eaton Airlines. And Flair is the legal man in the ring. Tommy Young is making sure that beautiful Bobby knows that. Cornette and J.J. Dillon exchanging very unpleasant looks. And there's J.J.
Boy, Windham is getting some animated instruction, too, from J.J. outside of the ring. You know, the referee did a good job even to keep up with who was the legal man in the ring, with all the commotion, all the switching and changing.
Our officials have done a tremendous job tonight. Tommy Young and Teddy Long, two of the finest in the NWA. But Flair and Windham may have stepped into the hornet's nest. Bob, you so adeptly pointed out that they are indeed wrestling a two tag team specialists.
That's right.
Eaton and Lane. Flair very cautiously surveying Sweet Stan Lane. I know that Lex Luger taking a long, hard look at the Nature Boy.
Each one of them looked a little cautious. You know, I think knowing what great athletes each one are, I think each one of them fear that if they make that fatal mistake, it can only take one and it can be over. Maybe like this.
Stan Lane has got the figure 4 on Nature Boy Ric Flair, and Bobby Eaton is applying that same move on Barry Windham. The Midnight Express with a double figure 4, but a short-lived one. There's James E. Cornette there. I tell you, Jimmy Cornette's done a lot of growing up in the last few weeks. He's changed his attitude on a lot of things. We got to call a spade a spade. I think he's changing and changing for the better. Sweet Stan coming back over the top. Oh, what an elbow on the champion. He's grapevine the leg. Count of 2. And he will what's going down for number 3, Bob.
Almost had the champion pinned. He had the world's heavyweight champions, shoulders to the mat for the count of 2. But the champ, like the champion that he is going to fight back.
Stan Lane has got educated feet, I'll tell you that. And they made straight A's in school to both the left and the right. And Ric Flair back into the sanctuary of his corner. I tell you something, the Midnight Express, we know that they have had all they can say grace over, battling with the Paul E. Dangerously's original Midnight Express. And, of course, they'll settle that issue at Starrcade. But, man, they have started out, I mean, like a house of fire here. But now the champion will try to assert himself here.
You know, I think that's one thing that makes a great champion. When you get him hurt, that's when he's the most dangerous. And Ric Flair is just like that.
Ric Flair, perhaps the greatest champion ever in the NWA.
5 times, Jim. 5 times this man has been the World Heavyweight Champion.
Bobby Eaton trying to fight back, and he's doing it. Flair. And he is just broken down to a slugfest. And Eaton got the better of that exchange, tagging in Stan Lane. Lane caught with a blow to the midsection by Flair. Flair sends him for the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul E. Dangerously is here in the building, and I think he's standing by with some comments.
You know, my inside sources tell me that the order came from as high up as Ted Turner himself. He said, don't let Loverboy Dennis and Ravishing Randy, the real Midnight Express, into Chattanooga. Don't let them spoil the Clash of Champions, because everybody knows exactly what we can do to Jim Cornette's phony Midnight Express. Because, brother, we have your number. Because you can come with all your high-flying maneuvers, but at Starrcade, it's not going to be an MTV video. It's going to be a fight. Yeah, you try your pretty maneuvers. We'll show you how dark the dark side can be.
Indeed, that will occur at Starrcade the day after Christmas. Our minds are far from that right now, right here back in the ring for the finest in the sport. And Nature Boy Ric Flair, as I mentioned, will assert himself. He is a great counter wrestler, but he's posing a little long, Bob.
Well, again, he took too long to get up on the ropes, and that didn't stand the time that he needed.
Man, he went through about 2 area codes before he finally landed square in the canvas.
He came all the way off of that top rope, and he really popped that mat and popped it hard. Here's Eaton back in.
Eaton bears right hands into the Nature Boy, steps up onto the second rope, hammers down the Alabama native, Bobby Eaton.
Jim, I've been trying to keep track of it, and the Midnight Express, there goes Flair over the rope again in that corner and out on the apron. And the Express, they're tagging more than twice as often.
Oh, what a neck break
there! And Wyndham.
Well, we said they were tag team specialists. Referee trying to maintain some control here. Midnight Express double teaming. They just dropped Flair flat on his face, both men. And Eaton with a cheap shot on Barry Windham. Flair's got a foot on the rope. Jim Cornette saw J.J. Dilla put that foot on the rope. And Master James E. Cornette a little livid there, and rightfully so.
Eaton just wants to slug somebody, and he don't care who. Again, he went over to Wyndham.
Eaton rolls up Nature Boy Ric Flair. Flair's got his shoulder up. And Barry Windham just nailed Bobby Eaton from behind. And it had been all Midnight Express, but Windham had just created a break, Bob.
And I think as the match continues to progress and the longer it goes, I think, again, that's going to work in the favor of the 2 champions, Barry Windham, who's in now after the tag, and the Nature Boy. I think the Midnight needed to finish him off and finish him off fairly quickly.
Inverted atomic drop. Barry Windham with a wide variety of weapons. He's got the lariat, the slingshot. Man, that slingshot lariat, he just nailed. That's a right hand. That's just old down home Sweetwater, Texas right.
I mean, man, he would have gone through a brick wall with that right hand. He sent Eaton right through the ropes, all the way off the apron, right down onto the floor.
Often wondered that glove right hand. We know it's awesome with a claw. Is there anything in there what should be? When look at the strength of this youngster. 6'6", 260, the United States heavyweight champion.
You talk about the glove on that hand. If he ever puts that claw hole around that forehead, you can just call it curtains right there. He's got such tremendous strength and power. He just cuts off the circulation, puts the opponent right out with it.
Nice power slam by Barry Windham. Reaches out the long wingspan and tags in the Nature Boy, who goes to the ropes, drops a knee right on the head. Oh, Flair just slapped Eaton right in the face.
He's repaying for what Eaton did to him at the beginning of the match.
Flair is so cocky, so arrogant. The world's heavyweight champion. Many people say the greatest champion of all time. I don't think Lex Luger would disagree with that. Oh, what a chop.
Right up above us in the corner, and nobody hits as hard with a chop as does Ric Flair.
Bobby Eaton right outside here. He's in a very vulnerable position. Windham just dropped Bobby Eaton right over the security railing. Stan Lane coming around to help his partner. And now, oh, Flair's out there. What a chop right to the chest. This one is getting mighty physical, ladies and gentlemen. And you're seeing it live right here from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Some of the most brutal blows have been landed outside of the ring, too, down on the floor. Here's Cornette over now. He's trying to help Eaton up, trying to get him to his feet and back in the ring. Lane's going to come around to give him another assist, but Flair's also going to help him. Flair wants him back in.
Ric Flair with another one of those great chops. Tag was made. There's the lariat by Barry Windham. And Bobby Eaton lies helplessly on the canvas. Lateral press, but Eaton kicks out very quickly. He kicked out before Windham had a chance to grapevine the leg.
Whether or not it was the strategy of Windham and also of the world champion or not, I'm not sure, but they are tagging and they are switching more often now.
Windham drops a knee on Bobby Eaton. Legal maneuver. They have executed a few legal maneuvers. There's a sleeper. You know, I got to think, Bob, this may be a great maneuver when you think about Windham's upcoming battle with Bigelow, the sleeper hold. He's got the leverage advantage. He's 6'6".
That's right, got the height, he's got the leverage, he's got the power on his arms and his shoulders, and I think he can put any wrestler to sleep with him. But he's fighting it.
Nice move there by Bobby Eaton to counter out of the sleeper, but Windham can stand in the middle of the ring and reach out and tag his partner almost.
That's just about how tall he is with those long arms.
Wow.
Goodness, what a blow.
They are exchanging some physical blows here at the Clash of Champions 4. Season's beatings, indeed it is.
The champion missed that one as Eaton blocked it and came right back with his own. It's brutal in there right now, Jim.
It certainly is. It's very physical. This is the National Wrestling Alliance. Professional wrestling at its very finest. Flair just caught right on the beat. And he wants to make the tag. Flair's made the tag. And Bobby Eaton's made the tag. Stan Lane with his feet and his fist. Fist and fire, feet and fury. Elevating Barry Windham. He sends Flair for the top rope. This is a travesty of justice here.
When it was Eaton who had Wyndham pinned, and if it had not been for James J. Dillon getting that shoe into Ric Flair, certainly the decision would have gone the other way.
There's no doubt about it, Bob. Bobby Eaton nailed Wyndham with that leg drop off the top rope. I mean, he hit it. Wyndham is having trouble even keeping his equilibrium at this point. But Flair rolled in, used Dillon's shoe. He nailed Eaton from behind. There you see the Horsemen. They know they have been in one heck of a battle. And Cornette's Midnight Express were within I guess a shoe sole of a victory here.
They were just that close. And that match was even more than we thought it was going to be too, Jim. 4 great competitors, 4 tremendous athletes, all in the ring at one time, going at each other, and neither did either one of them ask for any quarter or give any. Great match all the way with the 2 champions and the Midnight Express.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with some more comments. The winners, Flair and Wyndham. We'll be back in just a moment.
Tremendous tag team event. I know, Jim Cornette, it ended not exactly like you wanted, and you're very upset right now.
What you had right there was 4 guys that are the best in the world at what they do, and they got in the ring, and they beat each other half to death right here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, brother. And just like I told J.J. Dillon, let him play, let him go, because Ric Flair, whatever anybody else thinks of him, he's the best wrestler that has ever set foot in a wrestling ring. Barry Windham come into his own at the Midnight Express, I still claim, and they proved it there. Are they equal or better of any tag team combination that's ever been in this sport? That's why I said let them go. Let's see what happens. And they beat each other half to death, and Bobby Eaton proved he's been fighting since he was 5 years old. You can ask anybody in Huntsville, Alabama, and he stood toe-to-toe with you, Ric Flair. And Stan Lane, he's got more guts in his little pinky than Barry Windham does in his whole stinking body, because Stan Lane stood toe-to-toe with Barry Windham. So it was up to J.J. Dillon, and J.J., I had my eye on you through the whole thing. And I knew when I come over there you were trying something sneaky, so I give you a whop. Little did I know that shoe was going to fumble its way into the ring, and Ric Flair picked it up, and that's the thing that I can't stand, that I can't believe, that Ric Flair, you had to stoop, because you know you were about to be embarrassed on national television. You had to stoop to taking J.J. Dillon's shoe and whopping Bobby Eaton in the head with it. Well, let me tell you something. There ain't going to be nothing like that going on at Starrcade, because if you get disqualified, Ric Flair, you're going to lose that title. And in the meantime, J.J. Dillon, I'm going to say this to you. The Midnight Express proved beyond a shadow of a doubt just exactly how good they are. We've already started fixing the Horsemen. There's 2 of them left, and that's Flair and Windham. And JJ, if you've got the guts to sign a contract, we want another match. Maybe bring it back here to Chattanooga, Tennessee, brother. And we are going to fix Ric Flair and fix Barry Windham. Because for the past 6 weeks now, the Midnight Express and Jim Cornette have got dumped on, and dumped on heavy. We got beat for the World Tag Team titles through questionable circumstances. You got the original Midnight Express brother coming here and think they're going to do something. And now this. Well, let me say this. We are back in business again. The Midnight Express and Jim Cornette, bigger and better than ever. And we're going to get our self-respect back. We are going to take the first step, the tip of the iceberg, toward paying all the people back that have jumped on us in the past. And all the people out there across America who have seen fit to put aside their personal differences and support us. Brother, we're going to pay the people back. We're going to beat some people up for you that have seen fit, no matter what we said, no matter what we've done, to support us, because you know we're right. Thank you very much.
All right, Jim Cornette, thank you. Let's go back to ringside with Jim Ross and Bob Cotter.
All right, thank you very much, Tony Schiavone. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it has been, Bob, a tremendous night. The intensity here in this facility was just beyond compare.
All the matches, Jim, exactly what we thought they would be. Great competitors in every single one of them. And I tell you, from the opening match, when the Fantastics claimed the United States Tag Team Championship, what a match that was. And we can see a little bit of that right here.
Eddie Gilbert sustained it tremendously. I mean, his arm was just brutalized. And there, the final time that it met the steel, that was the 3rd time in the match, Gilbert in tremendous pain. He did not quit. He did not give up. The Fantastics come back into Chattanooga. This must be a great city for them. This is the second time they've been in this building and have won the United States tag titles.
Then, of course, we had that match, the eye for an eye. Road Warrior Animal and Dusty Rhodes. What intensity they had in that match. All the way through from the beginning to end, it was, let's see what I can do to this guy to really put him out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you're going to see, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, brings a chair into the ring. Now there's two things we need to remember here. He's trying to break Road Warrior Animal's leg. He had tried that early in their match, but he breaks this chair all over his leg. That causes a disqualification for Rhodes, and the Road Warriors will have the opportunity to pick a third partner as their six-man tag team champion of the world. I'll tell you something, fans, it's been a great night. We appreciate you being here with us. Bob and I have seen what we think is some of the greatest intense competition. Dr. Death with a great victory. We've talked to Mike Rotunda and Kevin Sullivan. The Junkyard Dog is back here, and I want to tell you something. Mr. Ivan Koloff has got a 325-pound man that'll stand toe-to-toe with him and fight those Russians.
He's got that chain. He's a mean one. He's the meanest dog in the yard. That's going to be something to see, too, Jim. By the way, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm going to see you and Tony again on Saturday, 6:05, right here on the Superstation, too.
That's exactly right. And Jim Cornette, I'm sure, is going to have a lot more to say. He'll be with David Crockett this Saturday morning at 11:05 here on Superstation TBS. Well, I'll tell you, Bob, it's been great working with you.
Enjoyed it, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being with us. And now let's go back up to our colleague, Tony Schiavone.
All right, Jim Ross, Bob Cuttle, great job once again here tonight on Clash of the Champions on Superstation TBS. And if we go back and take a look at what happened in that last match, Jim Cornette came out here, Lex, and said he couldn't believe that Ric Flair would resort to such tactics, but we all know the world heavyweight champion. When there's a win to be had, the man will do anything.
Well, obviously, I'm not surprised. I think Jim Cornette just got a taste, a small taste, but I've been experiencing for 6 months now. That is the fact that Flair will do anything and everything he can to obtain a win. But most of all, when it comes to that World Heavyweight Championship, there's nothing he will not do. And that's why I'm so happy to finally get a disqualification rule waived match with Nature Boy Ric Flair. That's what I've asked for all along.
Okay, here we see the final moments of the match now. Barry Windham is down. And beautiful Bobby of the Midnight Express is up on the top turnbuckle. The fans behind him. He comes off right down, one of his patent moves. And I think we could say right here, it was a tremendous match. The Midnight Express are a tremendous team. And what we're going to see, certainly would I rate anybody, much less a Jim Cornette with the shoe coming off, going into the ring.
Well, I got to say one thing about the Midnight Express. People have had a lot of doubters about the Midnight Express, but I think in the last month, they've made a lot of believers out of their wrestling ability and a lot of believers out of their character. They showed a lot of intestinal fortitude. They showed a lot of guts and a lot of courage. They had this match won against the U.S. Heavyweight Champion, the World Heavyweight Champion. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever, Tony.
So there it was. And Ric Flair and Barry Windham, the world champion, the U.S. Heavyweight Champion, together pick up a win right here on the Clash of the Champions season beatings. As you know, fans, the month of December is a tremendous month for all of us in the NWA. This man right here, the total package, Lex Luger, I know right now, in the greatest shape of your life, you are prepared to do battle. We look forward to seeing big things out of you for the remainder, especially of 1988.
Well, you know, Tony Schiavone, I'm sweating right now. It's been a hot night here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, in front of millions of viewers. It's been a tremendous pleasure being here with you. I've enjoyed the competition. I've enjoyed watching the match, but most of all, I wish I had my tights on and was out there myself. It's been a long time coming for Nature Boy and the total package to have a clear-cut winner in a match. And that's what I've wanted all along. And Lex Luger is ready to do what everyone's believed he can do. And I know I'm in the greatest physical condition. I'm in the greatest mental condition. My confidence factor is at an all-time high for Ric Flair, and I'm waiting on it.
Okay, for Lex Luger, Jim Ross, Bob Cottle, I'm Tony Schiavone, Superstation TBS. Have a good night, everybody.